Good job first.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angel, and I'm going to be reviewing Love and Hip Hop Miami Season 2, Episode 1. So, the first scene starts off with Trina. She's going to Rico Love's radio show, and she's talking about how last season she really wanted to get more into her music and how her and Trick Daddy have been working on their TNT project, the Trina and Trick Daddy project, but how things haven't been going so well for them. So on the stage, they have Dreezy, Miss Mulatto, and another artist that I have never heard of. Dreezy really didn't say anything, which I was really surprised about because they had a scene where she kind of had her mouth closed. She wasn't saying anything, but I believe they had a voiceover of her saying something. So I thought that was really interesting as well. And then also, after they do the interview, Trina's giving the girls wisdom about how female rappers they can work together in this industry and how much harder it is. But her and Rico Love talk after the interview about her and Trick's TNT project because she said that it wasn't working so smoothly. And in the project, Trina's basically saying that Trick Daddy, he's not answering her calls. She's sending music, he's not responding, and she doesn't know whether to go through with it because she feels like Trick Daddy isn't 100% dedicated to the project, and that's really frustrating her. But she pinky promises Rico Love that she'll give Trick a little bit more time to figure out what he needs to figure out and to see if they can continue to work together. So for Trina's confessional look, I really liked her makeup. I thought they did her makeup really well. The colors complemented her skin nicely. My main issue with her look for the confessional was the hair because I'm not really a fan of the wet blonde hair look because I feel quite honestly it looks like ramen noodles, and so I thought that it could have looked better with black hair, but I think that she did pull it off, but it wasn't my favorite look. And I was also very confused by her top because it appeared to be like a bralette style top, but then there was three belts that it was like a three belt corset type of style for the midriff of the outfit, and so that really confused me, and I was not a fan of that because the belts looked very awkward. I don't understand what the concept was. I'm not sure what they were going for, but it was a fail for me. So in the next scene, we have young Hollywood, who last season was the villain, as he called himself, because he was the producer who was telling Amara La Negra that she had to, change her afro and change her skin color, things like that, if she wanted to succeed in the music business. So he caught a lot of flack for that last season. So he's calling himself the villain, which I think is appropriate based on the fan reactions to him last season. And so he's walking to this place, unknown location. We don't know what the location is yet, but all I could really focus on was his outfit. He was wearing like a green floral shirt and pants set, and it to me it just looked really odd. Like it reminded me of like Father on Vacation. So I wasn't a fan of that outfit. And so he meets up with Gunplay in this Hispanic restaurant, and the food looked really good. I must admit, the food looked very good. And so he meets up with Gunplay, and they're just kind of catching up on life, talking about what's been happening with each other. And so Gunplay is telling him about his new album that's dropped, that he's bringing out, and he's telling him about his breakup with Kiara. So my issue with this conversation is that Gunplay was saying that he was taking responsibility, but he wasn't taking responsibility for his actions and the demise of their relationship. He said the reason they broke up is because he was on Instagram in the DMs of other girls, like his ex-girlfriend and Amara La Negra. So to me, this is very interesting that he was saying, oh, it's just because I was in the DMs. It's not like I did anything physical with these girls, so she has no reason to be upset. But at the same time, he's talking about how he was talking to these girls because he didn't have an any emotional support from Kiara. So it's technically emotional cheating because he was looking at these girls and talking to them for emotional support. So I thought that was really interesting that he made it seem as if him talking to these girls was not a big deal and that Kiara was overreacting. And then he said, oh, that they should both take responsibility. So I felt like by him saying that, he was taking responsibility for his actions, but at the same time shifting the blame to Kiara to make himself not as wrong. Even young Hollywood, who is the villain of this series, seemed to understand that there is something wrong with him talking to girls in the DMs, because when Gunplay was telling him about it, he was even saying, well, that is a reason if you were talking to these girls on Instagram, that's a reason for her to be upset. But of course, you know, Gunplay was just trying to justify his actions. So the next scene we have is with Amara. She's making her grand debut. She pulls up to a venue in a limo, and she's just talking about all the success that she's had in the past year, how her career has been skyrocketing since the ending of the show. And personally, like, I know a lot of natural Nazis might come for me or might not agree with me 100%. I like love her afro, don't get me wrong, but I didn't really like the butterflies that they added to her afro, because I know it was supposed to be a theme of like natural goddess butterflies, but I felt like it just looked like she walked inside of like those botanical gardens where, you know, you just walking through the botanical gardens and where like they have the plants and then the butterflies roaming around, and I feel like the butterflies got stuck in her hair. Like I really didn't like that look at all. And then my issue with her performance, because she was performing at this fashion week, but it was supposed to be with different hairstyles type of situation. So my problem with her look, I mean her for the performing for the fashion week, was that it seemed really out of order because the runway was a little bit smaller, and so she kind of was either walking in front of the models or like they were walking behind her, and it just kind of seemed like the runway was too small. But you know, I liked her song. Her little performance outfit was really pretty. And so after her performance, Amara's so excited. She's like, oh yay, I did it. I did such a good job. She's running to go speak to her manager. But then her manager like congratulates her, but he's like, your mom called like 10 times back to back. I don't know what's going on. So Amara's like looking through her phone at the missed calls, and she's like, my mom has never called me back to back before. I don't know what happened. And so we'll see what happens in the next scene. In the next scene, Mona decided to take us to church. So we are at church. We're like watching someone performing. There's a whole lot with the gospel singing going on. And so we get an introduction from somebody named Jessie Woo, who is a Haitian Instagram comedian that came out like in 2017. And so she's singing in her mom's church because her mom is an evangelist. And so her mom is in like, you know, the cultural outfit. Then she starts preaching, and after that they start talking more, and it turns out that her mom isn't really supportive of her comedy and her Instagram career because she feels like it's a waste of time. And you know, I know most people know that foreign parents, they think that anything that's not, you know, doctor, lawyer, engineer, that it's a waste of time. They don't really understand that people can make money through social media nowadays. And so her and her mom are discussing that, and then she talks to her mom about this sista talk that she wants to have with a bunch of girls and their moms, and how it's happening on Sunday. So her mom is saying like, Sunday is the Lord's day, you know, I'm an evangelist, I have church, so I'll see if I'll be able to make it, basically. So the next scene is Prince. Last season, he was like a club promoter, party, nightlife hype person. I'm not really sure what his title is, but that's what he was last season. And so the scene opens up with him at a party, you know, living his best life. And then for some reason, his father is at this party. I don't really know, because like I wouldn't bring my mom to a lit situation with me, but so his father is there with him, and they start talking about like his childhood, how he was in and out of juvie, and like how he had a really hard life and how he just wants to help his family. And I was really surprised because based on the way that Prince carries himself, I would never assume that he was like a person who had been in and out of the juvenile system and had like a really hard life. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And like his dad is saying that he's proud of him, and he started crying. And like, you know, to me, I was really confused because I was like, is he crying because him and his father had never had this conversation? Is he crying because his father is proud of him? Like I was, and then they're in the middle of a party. So I felt like the conversation wasn't in a good setting. And if it was a conversation that had never happened before, it really definitely shouldn't have taken place at a social gathering with people partying. So I was kind of confused by that. Um, as far as his confessional look, I didn't like it at all. At all. So he had on a red blazer with a red pocket hanky and a red button up that was unbuttoned and like a gold chain. And then he had like the braided style on his hair. And yeah, I just didn't like it. I felt like he was going for a rich Versace mob kind of look, but it missed the mark to me. I didn't like it at all. So while Prince and his father are talking, Bobby and Little Tip arrive at the party. I mean, Bobby and Miami Tip arrive at the party. So Bobby walks in, life of the party, hey, you know, and like how Bobby is. And so he gives us a little introduction about himself. He's Trina's cousin. He wants to break into the music industry as well. And so he's just really excited to be there. Him and Prince have been building their friendship, and things are going really well for him. And he said to watch out for him. So Bobby in his confessional, like, his makeup looks so flawless and wonderful. Like, everything looks so good. Like, you can tell he went to a very good makeup artist, and yeah, like everything looked flawless. It looked great. You know, he's just he did good. um, as far as Miami Tip for her confessional look, I no. So she has like straight platinum blonde hair, but then there are hot pink tips to it. But it's not an ombre. It's literally like about right here, dipped into hot pink paint, and like that's it. So I didn't really like that because I felt like it would have probably looked better as an ombre. And then also in the confessional, she's wearing like a velvet hot pink shirt, or I mean satin hot pink shirt, and so it kind of clashed with the tips of the hair too. So I wasn't a fan of that. The scene, Bobby and Miami Tip walk up. You know, they're like, "Oh, how are you?" They're talking to Prince and everything. And so Prince brings up the issue that he's been having with people thinking that he is gay. So he's saying that by him being friends with Bobby, who we all know is gay, that people are jumping to more conclusions about him being gay. So I don't I don't really know what to say about this situation, because I know a lot of us, including myself, believe that Prince is very feminine. So I can see where people would get the misinterpretation that by him hanging out with a person like Bobby as well, that, you know, there might be something going on. So I kind of understand where people are coming from, but I'm going to respect him. And if he says that he is not gay, he's not gay. And so Prince walks away. He has to go get them drinks, I think, something like that. And so Bobby and Miami Tip start talking, and they're talking about how Bobby feels upset about his friendship with Prince because he feels like Prince is using him, he's humiliating him, and he doesn't really appreciate that. And I thought that was really interesting because like they both have completely different perceptions of the benefits of the friendship, and I thought that's cool because like not cool, but I thought that was interesting because Prince thinks, oh, the friendship is bad because people think I'm gay, and then Bobby thinks it's bad because, oh, the friendship's bad because I feel like he's using me because I'm gay and humiliating me. So I thought, and yeah. And they showed a clip where they were at like an open street shopping center, I believe, or like a restaurant, and Prince grabbed Bobby's hat and like started running around, and they're like chasing after each other. And to me, it looked like middle schoolers who have a crush on each other. You know, you like take the hat and you run with it, and they're supposed to chase you. But it didn't end in a cute way because Bobby ended up falling like really hard on the next scene. Amara, you know, she's rushing into the house, and it's her mom's house or her house, I believe. And so her mom's like laying in bed, her whole hand is bandaged, and so Amara is just like, oh my god, I wish I was there, like I can't believe this happened, what happened, like. And then so her mom is explaining to her that she had lit a candle in the house because, you know, we all want our house to smell good, warmth, all that. And so it's like, I guess she fell asleep and the candle caught fire on something. And so the whole apartment started smoking up. And so, you know, like in the spur of the moment, you're just trying to get rid of the problem. So her mom reached in, like, to touch the candle to, like, I guess, you know, extinguish it. And then so her whole right hand, yeah, her whole right hand, yeah, see, my issue was, why did they show us? See, that's a lie. I'm a squeamish person. So for them to just, like, no warning at all, they just kind of put the picture there with, like, her mom's hand where it was, the skin was bubbled and, like, it was burnt. And yeah, like, I would, no, I needed a warning. I needed a heads up. Like, I was not for them just showing it to us. And then so Amara, she's just like dealing with the guilt because she felt like, oh, if I would have been here, I could have done something. I could have blown out the candle. Because I think we all regret stuff after and think that we could have made a difference. But, you know, we can't control everything in life. And so she's saying, like, her parents sacrificed so much for them and how she wished that, like, she can do, like, help them. Everything that she does is for them. And so her mom is saying, like, as a parent, that's our thing. We're supposed to sacrifice so our children can do better. And, you know, she cracks the joke at the end. She's like, you know, I'm just gonna have to find another way to make my house smell good. No more candles. So I thought that was pretty nice way to end that sad scene. Okay, in the next scene, we're at, like, a little, you know, poker kickback type of situation. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot going on. And so this is like Trick Daddy scene. So my thing with this scene, like, I'm gonna be honest, I honestly didn't understand what he was talking about in, like, the first 5 seconds. He was using a lot of, like, slang and stuff that I couldn't really translate. But I believe after that, you know, he's talking to I believe that, yeah, he's talking, you know, he's telling young Hollywood, this guy named Chaotic, about how he doesn't want to work with Trina anymore because she's a diva and how she's making this new music that he doesn't really like, and how every time she sends a song, he just, like, deletes it. He's not answering her calls. He's not going to the studio, and he wants to end the TNT project, but he just hasn't told Trina. So to me, I'm like, why don't he just tell Trina so that they can, you know, move their separate ways so that she's not constantly sending him her music if he's just gonna say no. So I think it'd be best if he just sat down, talked to her, and been like, Trina, we can't work together anymore, you know. But everybody has their own method. Okay, I'm gonna need some clarification on this these styles I'm seeing. I don't know if it's a Florida thing, but is that the new style to, like, have, like, the big overgrown dreads and, like, put it into a ponytail bun? Like I honestly need clarification because I don't get it. Like, I don't get the style. I don't understand it. Cause Gunplay has it. This other guy, Chaotic, has it. I haven't seen it in California, but if someone can clarify that down in the comments section, because I don't know if this is the Florida style. Do people like it? Is it attractive? I just want to know. The next scene is with Jojo and Amara meeting up to discuss, you know, life. So let's talk about Jojo's confessional. So I think that Jojo is a knockoff Nikki Baby, or a Nikki Baby imitation. Like, she has, like, the light colored hair, the bronzed skin, and then, you know, the nude clothing with the body type of thing going on. So I don't know if that was her inspiration for her confessional look, but she's giving me real Nikki Baby from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood tease. And then they're also both, you know, rich girls with rich families, even though JoJo's dad cut her and her mom off. But, yeah, they have quite a few similarities. So I don't know if Mona did that or if it's just coincidental or inspiration. Amara and Nikki Baby Jr., aka JoJo. So they're sitting down like in this restaurant, you know, catching up on life because Amara has been in and out living in New York and Florida. They haven't really had time to reconnect with each other. And so JoJo is basically explaining to her about how you know, she doesn't have many friends. She misses Amara. It's just her and her mom because her dad still cut her off, so she still has to fend for herself. And then so she's talking about her friendship with Bobby and how her and Bobby have become closer because there was a hurricane and he had to move in with her, and how he's been confiding in her about how he feels about his relationship with Prince. And so Amara is basically saying like just watch out because Bobby is known for the mess. He's known for always having drama surrounding him. And so and so JoJo is telling Amara like, oh yeah, him and Prince, I keep telling him not to be around Bobby, to be around Prince because, you know, the whole situation made him cry. Amara's like, he cried. And I was confused too because I thought they were joking, but I guess the situation hurt him way more than Prince thinks, so that's kind of. So the next scene is Jessie Woo's sister talk, like circle of mothers and daughters talk that she wanted to have. And so she has Miami Tip and her mother, JoJo and her mother, and I'm forgetting somebody, but yeah, so they're all gathered around. Oh, Joy and her mother. So they're all gathered around the table, you know, talking about it, talking about different life experiences. They bring up about dating. And so JoJo's mom is like, oh yeah, I don't really like her dating singers and rappers. Right now she's dating a singer. So Joy, who's Trick Daddy's ex-wife, if they are divorced, I think. And then so she's basically saying, oh, who are you dating? Who's the singer? And so the mom's like, oh, she's dating Pleasure P. And so Joy was like, like she was like, oh, because as we know, Pleasure P was dating Shay from Flavor of Love last season, and so Pleasure P and Joy were really close, and Shay didn't like that, so she like beat up Joy last season. So her and Joy don't have the best relationship. So when she said Pleasure P, Joy was very like, oh, yeah. And so after the show, you know, JoJo's asking Joy, like, oh, is there a problem with me dating Pleasure P? Then she's like, no, I don't have a problem. You should be worried about Shay because that's his ex-girlfriend who's like crazy, you know? And so this is JoJo. She's all like, I'm not scared of Shay. But like when she said it, her voice cracks. I thought that was so funny because like as we if you watch Shay on other reality TV shows, we know that she's very feisty and is not afraid to throw some hands real quick. So I thought that was so funny that she's like, I'm not afraid of Shay, but like her voice cracked and it went up a little bit. So I think that she's scared of Shay. And we already saw in the previews that Shay like rips her wig off, so that should be interesting. They also talk about the whole Amara, Bobby, Prince, Miami Tip situation because I believe that JoJo was talking about how she always holds down her people and talking about how loyal she was, and Miami Tip checked her because she was very upset by this statement because she thought that by JoJo saying these things, she was completely forgetting that she had caused drama because when Amara told her to be careful around Bobby because he has a lot of drama, she went back and told Bobby that Amara said for her not to trust him. And so now Bobby's obviously offended by Amara because he's like, why is she saying that? So Miami Tip felt like it wasn't right of you to take back what Amara said to Bobby in a form of gossip when she was just literally trying to give you like a suggestion. Alright, so the next scene is Kiara and Gunplay's meetup. So Gunplay goes to Kiara's apartment so that they can discuss the breakup. And this scene, like, I don't know, like, their relationship is painful to watch on this show because, like, you can feel, like, the real emotions and hurt So to me, it's like really sad to watch because like both of them, like their eyes were red, they were tearing up. Like you can hear the emotions in their voice, like you can see the hurt behind their eyes, and like I just want both of them to win, you know. So Gunplay, I think Gunplay just has to be 100% responsible for what he did because in the conversation they were having, he's basically telling her like, oh, again what he told young Hollywood, I was just texting these girls on Instagram, you know, I wasn't doing anything physical with them, and I feel like we've been together 4 years, you shouldn't leave me for that, this and that, this and that. And then so Kiara is basically saying like, I've held you down for 4 years. When you had your addiction, I was there for you. When you were homeless, sleeping on people's couches, I was there for you. And so she felt like he disrespected her, even if he didn't physically cheat with these women. The fact that he was still emotionally cheating on her, even though she's been with him so much emotionally and physically throughout the span of their relationship. And Gunplay, like he decides to start yelling and he asks her, oh, do you want a cookie for that? Do you want to thank you for that? And I felt like that's where the disconnect is with their relationship, because he doesn't want to acknowledge everything that she's done for him in life because he feels like, oh, I make the money, I'm taking care of you. And I liked what Kiara said in her confessional. She said, just because someone's financially supporting you doesn't mean that they can treat you however they want to treat you. And so I think that's where they're having their miscommunication, because he feels like she should always be there for him because he was supporting her financially, and she feels like you should respect what I have done for you and have the respect for me to not do things that are gonna hurt me. It was just really sad. But this is a sidetracking though. What do you do if you're sitting like next to Gunplay on like a plane or a train, and like his hair is just like in your personal bubble, in your personal space? Are you gonna be like, sir, excuse me, your hair is in my space, can you move? Like, could you, like, standing behind him in line and it's just like all up in your face? Like, I don't know, that sidetrack right there, but to me, that, what would you guys do in that situation? I don't know what I would do if someone's hair was encroaching on my territory some way. I don't know what to say. So the last scene, it's, you know, Trina and Trick Daddy's performance. I think it's the anniversary of one of their albums or their songs. And so it's like a high school theme, you know, Trina and her girls have on like jersey styled outfits, you know, and then the guys, you know, just guys, and they're just like, it was a great concert. The energy was really well. But the issue was that before the concert, Trina wanted to talk to Trick Daddy about the TNT project, and he was just like, this is not the time, we're about to go on stage, why would we talk about this right now? And I agree with him, like, this is not the best time to discuss your future project, like when you're literally 5 minutes away from performing. But I can see where Trina's coming from, because obviously, like, what other time would she have to reach him if he's constantly ignoring her calls, not wanting to meet at the studio? And so they do the performance, and towards like the end of the performance, I guess to the beginning of one of Trina's like new songs that she was that she created started playing. So Trick Daddy was very upset because he said that she already showed up 2 to 3 hours late, and now she's trying to add a song. He said, is this what you guys were working on in the car for 2 hours, being late, adding a new song? You know, so I thought that was funny because the way he said it. And then like he walks up to the DJ in the back of the performance and is like, cut it off, nope. And oh my god, Trina was so mad. Like, it's a really big commotion backstage. She's very upset about it, and her and the producer are talking, and she's basically crying, and she says like how she, because her and Trick Daddy have always been Trick and Tina, you know, and Trick and Trina, and so she feels like without Trick Daddy, what can she really do by herself, you know? So I think that she's just really scared that like her career isn't gonna go anywhere if she doesn't have Trick Daddy helping her, and he feels that way too. And then so, you know, she just breaks down. She's just scared, worried about her career. But like, she's not gonna work with Trick Daddy anymore because she felt really disrespected by his actions. But you know, it turned out for the better, because now she's, you know, working with the City Girls, and they're becoming very famous very fast. So everything happens for a reason, and I think their separation is going to be beneficial. Well, it is beneficial for her, so that's always good. All right, so this is the end of the episode. I hope you all enjoy. This is my first ever YouTube video and my first time doing commentary. I just really like talking about reality TV show. So if you like it, if you like what you see, come back for more, subscribe, hit the like button, write comments. I will answer back. And let's just keep the discussion going in the comments section because I know you all have a lot to say as well. Bye.